Cool. Hey, what's up, everybody? I am excited for this video. I've been cooking up in my head for a long time. Are we ready for this? Not really, but we're gonna have fun anyway. You may all know these people, but for the sake of those who haven't seen any of my videos yet or our videos yet, I shall introduce the panel. First, the video game extraordinaire, Mr. Edwin / Ureti. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Next is the connoisseur of all things K-pop and anime, makes him a weeboo, Korea boo, Jomar.
Hi.
And builder of Build Plus.
Fuck you.
Really good at anime, folks. And
You written this down, didn't you?
and if Edwin is Nightwing, Seb is something Deathstroke, if that makes sense. He is the father of destruction, and God help you piss him off. Mr. Seb, Soriano, goddammit. Everybody, welcome to our BVS video.
Just a little clarification. I'm Jason Todd.
There we go.
No, don't you know? Michael Cera is Jason Todd. What the fuck?
What the? Oh no.
Make it happen,
Michael Cera is Jason Todd. He's also the next Wolverine. Didn't you know? You should already know this. He's cast as the toughest people in all of Marvel and DC.
Yeah. He's lined up to be in Jesse Eisenberg's biopic too. Anyway, folks, this is our BBS video. It came out 5 years ago and it caused quite a storm. And 5 years
Talking about it now.
Talking about it now, in hindsight, and to see if it was misinterpreted. Because all of us here really like the movie. And we feel like people were too hard on it. Again, misunderstood it. So the first question I would ask all of you is, what did you think of the movie? And since then, have you had a straight-on love relationship with the movie? Or has it been a hate-love relationship? Or just pure hate? Whatever.
Who wants to go first?
I saw this movie 5 times in cinema. 5 fucking times. And
I saw 3.
I liked it. I liked it the first time I saw it. I know I saw it with Edwin. One of the last things we did before he moved countries was we watched BBS.
Yeah, we saw it like twice together.
Right, yeah. One of the times we actually fell asleep in the cinema.
What?
Yeah. And not because we didn't like it, but just because we've gone through the experience so many times. And
yeah, that was like what our fifth watch. Like,
so you guys paid for a nap?
Yeah, it was in one of the Lazy Boy cinemas, so it was definitely.
This is like 400 pesos.
One of the best dates I've ever been in my entire life. It was just super chill. I had Edwin on top of me. I was holding him in my arms. Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah. BVS, the cinematic cut, in retrospect, was kind of shit. Just because there was a lot in there that should have been in there that wasn't in there by the time it got to the theaters. But my first couple times watching it, I watched it with an old friend that was really into DC the way I was at the time. And it was a tearjerker the first time you see it, because like the good scenes, the things that made sense, made so much sense, and the things that we liked a ton. BVS is a controversial movie. It's a very Zack Snyder movie in that sense, because it's always Zack Snyder shit's always going to feel at least a little bit divisive, and because there was so much cut off from this particular cut, in retrospect, there's a lot of shit that didn't make sense, but it was judged a little too harshly by the common public. I think this movie got a lot of really, really, really harsh reviews. Warranted, at least for the cinematic cut. For the ultimate cut, I don't know. I don't think there's a lot wrong with the ultimate cut, but this was the start of the DCU becoming one of the messiest places on earth. It was a literal garbage dump of a cinematic universe. but one with moments so good that can arguably make you like it more than the MCU. So
I will agree on that. I remember seeing some shit there that I was like, okay, this MCU can't pull that shit off. I'm sorry.
yeah.
For me, I've watched it 3 times in cinema. First time, Batman fanboy. Like, come on. Every scene of just pretty much Batman's movie, but every scene Batman was in was just beautiful. Even though he was killing people, I didn't really fucking mind. I was like, yeah, Batman.
I love that shit. I
love
love
that
killing
shit, though.
Batman. Yeah.
But like, I will say though, like after a couple of times of watching it, like seeing it on TV or watching it as for leisure, I will say that Zack Snyder went with style over substance majority of the time. Sure, there was some really good scenes there and good dialogue, but like it was more of style over substance in my opinion.
Question: Have you seen both cuts, Jomar?
Both cuts? No, I have not.
Oh, okay.
My bad.
All right. Yeah. Go
My
on.
mind might change if I watch it. Who knows?
It might.
Will it?
It changed Jeremy John's view on it, so who knows?
Oh shit! Okay, I have yet to watch.
You know what? I'll say something about Jeremy Johns. I know you guys are like big fans of his, but Jeremy Johns and Chris Stuckman and all of these guys that do like a lot of like reviews on superhero movies, I trust them for every movie unless it's a superhero movie. Like that's one thing I noticed about movie reviewers, because like you won't really be able to appreciate a Zack Snyder movie if you know the ins and outs of how filmmaking works and how storytelling within film works. You have to break what you know. You have to break what you've learned in order to completely appreciate a movie like BVS or like Zack Snyder's work in general, because I don't think he's very good at making traditionally good movies, but he's really good at innovating on the way storytelling is done in movies, and it often can rub people the wrong way because a lot of the time movies tell stories through dialogue, and Zack Snyder is a visual storyteller. So there are a lot of things you have to spot in the background. There are a lot of things you have to notice with the framing of the shots. All of these things, he tells stories visually as much as he tells it through the script, and I think that fucks with people a bit.
Yeah, I kind of agree with
But
that.
I love Jeremy Johns and Chris Stuckman. I don't wanna discredit their work. I really do love their work. But when it comes to when I see that there's like a superhero movie that came out, I'm already like, I'm not watching this video. I'll watch his videos on normal movies. Like I can trust that.
All right.
Yeah. Yes. Seth kind of said like a lot of my sentiments on BVS and Zack Snyder's work in general, and like I saw this 5 times when it first came out, and over the last few years I've probably seen it another 2 times because I did get it on Blu-ray. And it is divisive because of how Zack Snyder is as a director. His movies are very uncomfortable for general audiences.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's check out Watchman.
First time watching
out
Watchmen, I wasn't into it, and then after a couple of years,
Yeah, and it's just because Zach's style of storytelling is just very much not in the traditional mold that we're all used to with regular movies. Like like if I had to compare this to a fucking video game, it's like fucking Dark Souls, where a lot of the story isn't in the dialogue, but in the things you find in the world.
Yeah,
it is very hidden. Sometimes it's on a shield or a sword or something like that. There will be like text on it.
Yeah, like it's there, but it's only there if you like understand how Zack Snyder and his world works. You understand how his work works, and if you care enough to look for those story details.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think this movie was. I think there are a lot of justified criticisms in this movie, especially the theatrical cut, because it did leave out a lot of shit that was important in the grand scheme of things, and it was misunderstood because, again, just Zack Snyder's style of filmmaking is just so different that a lot of the things people look for aren't in the places they expect to find them. Like, Zack Snyder's movies have all the elements of a properly told story. They're just located in very strange fucking places.
Yeah. You remember that post that like we found? I think it was on Reddit or Tumblr, where there was one shot like the first time Diana and Bruce meet. Right, Diana's looking at the sword of I forgot. Was it the sword of Artemis? Doesn't sound right.
Alexander.
Enzo?
Yeah, Alexander.
Huh?
Alexander. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, sword of Alexander, right? And then the first time they meet, the shot is framed like this. Diana's looking at fake sword. Bruce in the reflection in the glass case. That's supposed to symbolize that like the person behind Diana is not who he appears. That he is also a fake of whoever this is that she sees. And the fact that no one would have ever seen that. Oh, it was only some crazy motherfucker on Tumblr who was able to spot it. It just tells you like this shit in this movie that you will still be spotting for the first time, like 10 or 12 watches down the line, or like one like a rabbit hole Reddit post 5 years later. Like, he tells stories in such a complicated and interesting way. It's such a good movie for like conspiracy theory guys and crazy people and obsessive motherfuckers. But it is not for everyone. It's total eye candy for me. It's the one of my favorite places to be at. It's really interesting. I loved how he framed the Batman. I love that Batman was like, you know what, we'll get into that later. But like,
yeah,
just the fact that like you will see shit about this movie that's new information to you to this day just says that there's a lot of interesting things about this movie, and there are a lot of complex things about how it was made, how it was shot, how it was scripted.
Yeah, and again, like, that's part of what makes Zack Snyder such a divisive director. Like, he's very much a love him or hate him kind of guy.
Yeah. I choose to love him.
Yeah, because for people who are into his work and know how he likes to tell his stories, his style of work can be very interesting, very complex, and very layered. But to people who don't like his work or who don't care enough for his work, like, his movies can very much look like style over substance. And a lot of it can feel, I guess, pretentious in a way. Because a lot of people don't want that kind of storytelling in their movies. And you have to keep in mind, when you talk about general audiences, you talk about people who, majority of them have just 9-to-5 jobs. They go to movie theaters on the weekend. They just want to watch something entertaining and, just sit down.
They don't wanna dissect a movie.
Yeah, because not everybody is a fucking film critic or a film analyst.
I'll take back what I said about the whole style over substance thing, since you guys kind of changed my mind on that.
Well, I mean,
I'll take that back.
But like, I'll say this
you're
about
not wrong. Like,
you're definitely not wrong on that. I'll say this about Snyder though. Like, Snyder is one of those few filmmakers that like have his own fan base. Yeah. Like, the ability of a Zack Snyder film to succeed is on the back of the people who love him more than they love his movies.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's like a Hideo Kojima thing.
Yeah. No, because like Hideo Kojima's work, I think, is universally great. That also attracts a cult fan base. But like, I think that Zack Snyder has had the ability to build his fan base not even on the basis of his work, but on the basis that it's him. Like we just like Zack Snyder a lot, and there are a lot of people who will watch a Zack Snyder movie on the basis that his name is on the fucking marquee.
Yeah.
And you just want this man to succeed. Not that you don't like his work, but like at this point, especially post Snyder Cut, everyone just wants this fucker to win.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. After the shit he's been through, I can see why.
Yeah. Like this man is he's wonderful. He did a great job casting these people. He did a great job with his like ideas on where these characters were supposed to go. Not everyone likes it, but at this point, like if you like Zack Snyder's work, you almost don't care about what the movie is anymore. Like I'm gonna watch Army of the Dead and like it, even though I haven't seen it. Like I don't care what anyone says. I'm gonna see Army of the Dead. Is it Army of the Dead? Is that what it's called? Army of
I think
Dead?
it was.
Yeah, I
Army
think
of
it is.
Dead?
Army
Army
of-
of Darkness?
No,
Um,
no.
Yeah, but like I'm gonna watch that fucking Batista movie and just be like, this is the shit.
Yeah.
This is like why? Zack Snyder directed it. It's
Zack
the
Snyder.
shit. There's no proper basis for that. Zachary Snyder directed it. Shut up. Just shut up, man.
Yeah, I saw the movie 4 times and twice in Star Mall, Las Piñas. If you live in Las Piñas,
Why?
you know how bad the cinemas are. But that's how much of
Like, why would you watch it?
Why did you watch it in Star Mall?
Like, there's no good Star Mall cinema. Like,
You get driven around by a driver from time to time. Why do you
Don't
afford a
think about
good
my life.
cinema?
don't think about my life. Anyway, I saw the movie 4 times. I really liked it. Those 4 times I watched it, and for the first few times I watched it, I was like, BC Batman fan was like, no, this movie's perfect. The theatrical version is perfect. And then I saw the ultimate. I was like, oh, that's even better. And then a few years later, I saw the theater cut on Netflix. I was like, damn, not a lot of things make sense, but the things that still make sense.
Dude,
So yeah.
I literally watched it the first time. Sorry to interrupt you. I watched it the first time and I was like, this movie's fucking perfect. And Edwin agreed with me on this. The second time I watched it, I was like, wait. I saw this. It was a theatrical cut. And the first time I saw the theatrical, I was like, I think I found my new religion. And then I watched the theatrical cut like a second time in the cinema, not that many days after, and I was like, there's a lot more wrong with this than I remembered the first time around.
But yeah, I'm gonna echo Edwin's sentiments. It's like a Soulsborne game. It's not meant for everyone. If you want to know about the story, you have to look really hard. Yeah, it's like a Dark Souls game, minus the crying and cursing. But
it's not even about having to look really hard. You just need to know where
There
to
is
look.
crying and cursing.
oh boy, I don't cry. I just curse a
Well.
lot in this game.
Why'd you say that name? Fuck.
Yeah, but yeah, it's Zack Snyder's one of those unique directors that I appreciate that he doesn't hold your hand when telling a story. I think the most accessible movies that most people can watch and not have a problem with him is either 300 or Dawn of the Dead, and that's the 2 movies that people can watch and be like, oh, I get it. But aside from that,
I think Army of the Dead is also going to be another Zack Snyder movie that no one's going to hate.
yeah,
I also think that like the reason Zack Snyder's such a contentious motherfucker is that like there are a lot of tropes he has that could be considered dumb if you didn't feel like immersing yourself in it. Like he does do way too much slow-mo. He literally synchronized abs in 300. There's just a lot of weird shit that he's into that I'm not gonna complain about, but like you could feel Zack Snyder's fetishes in some of his work. And if you don't like that, you're really not gonna fucking like it. There's really nothing that can change your mind on it if you're really not on board. But at this point, we're like members of a cult, you know? Like we're not in it because we're like in it logically. We're in it because we just like this thing so much.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder is a fandom all on his own. Like he's not Marvel, he's not DC, he's Zack Snyder. You know, like we just want to see more of his shit. But understandably, anyone who doesn't like it, I get it. It's cool.
Yeah.
Some of it is really weird. Like, why was there 20 minutes of slow motion in Justice League? Why the fuck did the Witcher 3 soundtrack play anytime Diana moved the muscle? Like, why did a group of random Icelandic ladies have to sing Aquaman away as he got fish? Like,
Fish daddy gotta go.
Not that I didn't love that scene because I loved that song, but I was watching it go like, this is really dumb. But I would listen to this whole song on loop for an hour. Like we just completely bought into everything. We don't really care how much substance is in it. We just think it's all really great.
Yeah, we just like it because we like it.
Yeah, he's the KFC double down of directors.
Like, that's a good one. That's good.
Whether it's good or good for you, we just want it all, man. Like,
since we
start talking about Zack Snyder,
the intro, let's talk about the things we really liked in the movie. Who wants to start?
Edwin?
Sure. Fuck. I mean, we just went on that entire spiel for like about half an hour, but
We did.
Yeah.
We're just praising Lord Zack Snyder.
Going
hail
into
Snyder.
what we like, because this segment is definitely gonna be full of new fucking material that we haven't already said.
Exactly.
I mean, first of all, like, it's a Zack Snyder film. It's gonna look good.
Yeah, it looks
And-
walking good.
And I have heard complaints, and fair enough, I guess, that the movie's drab or whatever. But like,
mamumudra.
Really?
Yun lang eh, diba? Like at this point, that's our argument for it. Like the movie's drab, and we're just like mama mo drab.
Yeah, dude. At the same time, I think it's just like people have this image of what a superhero movie is so deeply ingrained in their mind that anything that's not that is automatically fucking bad.
Like, really,
It's
you
not
want like a
colorful.
1-by-1 copy of like a Marvel movie?
Yeah, it's
Like,
it's
really?
not colorful. It's not funny. What's happening?
I mean, I was trying not to bring the MCU into this, but
I'm sorry, I'm bringing it in.
As long as you don't
Like, yeah.
become toxic fanboys, it's fine.
Okay,
That's not,
look.
Nah.
Look,
Yeah.
BVS came out at a time when the MCU hype train was full
At its
speed.
peak, man.
Yeah, literally at its fucking peak. And like, whether you like it or not, the MCU defined the entire genre of what superhero movies are for the last decade. And so in 2016, here comes Batman v Superman, Warner Brothers' attempt at
Underdog.
launching the DCEU. And that's a whole other kind of worms that we're not, or maybe we will get into, but
Yeah.
it's just so different from anything in the MCU. And it's a very Zack Snyder movie. And Zack Snyder has never really been one of those A-list directors.
Yeah.
Like up until that point. Like, yeah, he did 300, but really, like, how many people in the world saw 300?
A lot, actually.
A lot of people.
A lot.
A lot.
It was
A lot.
like
But I mean-
there are memes in multiple languages from 300. Like
Yeah,
like Benjo.
Okay.
Like
I will say, how about Watchmen? Let's say Watchmen.
Or watch.
Not everybody watched Watchmen.
Watchmen to me was more niche than 300, definitely.
Yeah.
was.
Yeah,
Watchmen was more
but-
niche.
I mean, I'm talking about these movies in the sense of just the broad
Yeah,
spectrum that the MCU was able to reach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have all of these people who are basically like fresh initiates, and you introduce such a foreign element like Zack Snyder's filmmaking and Batman v Superman, and of course, like there are going to be people who don't fucking like it. Like that's just the reality of the environment it released in.
Yeah.
But again, just of course, this is personal opinion, and people are free to disagree. People are free to be fucking wrong. But
Okay. All right.
You're entitled to your wrong opinion, is what he said.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's okay to be wrong. You know. This is what these videos are for. It's an educational experience.
I think this is my last video on YouTube. Goodbye, folks. No kidding.
Okay, no,
This is how your career falls.
Yeah.
Jesus. No, I am fucking around mostly. But yeah, it's a very interesting style of visual filmmaking, I think. And which leads to, again, BVS being really misunderstood because there's a lot in this movie to like. And I do think people were hurt on it. Like, for one thing, I really liked their portrayal of Batman in this movie. Like, I love Batfleck. Like, Batfleck is like my favorite Batman. And like, this is coming from a guy who was really fucking skeptical when the news first came out that Affleck was going to be playing Batman. Like, I was not on board. And then I saw the fucking movie. And then I fucking loved it.
I remember
I saw the
about
first
it.
fucking picture.
Yeah, the picture beside the Batman.
The picture,
The
yeah.
first picture
like,
Promo
of,
pics, yeah.
Whoa.
like, because like I heard about the casting, I was like, all right, he looks like him. He looks like Bruce, but like, I don't see it acting wise, because like, I don't know if Argo was a thing yet, or the town or whatever, right?
All I had to go off of was Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting, yeah, and all of those Jennifer Lopez movies. So you're just like,
Oh, and Daredevil.
Daredevil
shit.
he was actually very good at playing Batman when he played Daredevil.
That's true.
Like that's
Year
the thing.
one.
It felt like he
That's
was
year
playing
one.
Batman.
That's true.
But yeah, I also agree with Edwin that like Batman, it felt like fuck, sorry.
I have good news. We have no time limit, so we can go all night if we can.
That's what she said. All right. Yeah, there were a lot of speculations about Bennifer being bad. But
Sorry?
Bennifer is his name is Ben, so his full first name is Bennifer.
Okay.
Yeah. Benedict.
Benedict.
Benedict Affleck.
Bennett.
Bennett Alfred. Bennett Affleck, yeah.
You okay, there, Sam?
I'm having a stroke. I'm having a full-on stroke. Yeah, but his Batman turned out to be the best one ever. Like, for me, at least, because I'm a fucking Frank Miller guy. Like, I loved all of the Batman books that I've read so far. Like, I've read shit like Court of Owls and all the Jeff Loeb stuff, you know, Long Halloween. What the fuck? The guy with the tape on his face. Hush.
Hush.
Fuck.
Bandit.
I called him the guy with the tape on his face.
Sure.
The new Riddler.
Dude, I've read so many of the fucking comics that they're all just blurring into
Merging together.
one another now. But I always really loved this, like, I'm sorry to say this, but he's incredibly fucking right-wing. Like, the Dark Knight Returns Batman, he's a legit right-winger. He's an angry billionaire, like, just unreasonably mad at this foreigner. Like, that's what he was, wasn't he?
Fucking alien.
Like, no, if we're being fucking real here, he's just like, I don't like that he's presenting to me a bunch of things that I've never seen before. I have so much money and I want him to die. Like, wasn't that exactly what he kind of did?
Oh god, Frank Miller's Batman is literally orphan billionaire hates immigrant.
He's just handsome Donald Trump. with karate lessons.
Go back to Krypton, won't you?
You go back to Krypton. I can't. I don't think Frank Miller wrote him as right wing as Zack Snyder actually wrote him. Because here his beef is like Batman doesn't trust anyone with this amount of power. But circumstantially, it is the American white man very mad at this immigrant doing things that he's not used to and acting in a way that he doesn't trust. And I think a lot of the problem with this movie is with the fact that they expected this to be a hero movie. You know, like in Civil War, you could argue that Tony and Cap are right. In this movie, though, there's only one hero. If there's anything about this video that I want people to take home, it's the fact that in BVS, there was only one protagonist. And if you buy into BVS thinking that Batman's also a good guy, you're wrong. Batman was the villain of this movie. As much as Lex Luthor was the villain of this movie, as much as Doomsday was a villain of this movie. Batman did not take this investigation on using logic. He panicked. He acted like a criminal. He started killing the shit out of people. And of course, a lot of the Batman traditionalists are going to say, well, he's acting like a bad guy. This isn't my Batman. And Zack Snyder would have pointed right in your face and gone like, exactly. Get mad at this motherfucker. Because he is the bad guy in this movie. He's a bad guy for 2/3 of this movie. And for some people are so confused with the fact that he seems to be acting like a bad guy. Batman is a villain. Like, he was so easily manipulated by Lex Luthor's shit. You think if he was actually using his head that would have happened? He's not. He just wants this fight. He's mad that he has to be Batman again. He encountered another thing. He's handling it like a fucking criminal. Batman's a bad guy.
He was racially motivated the entire film.
if you want
this man's
to go
different from
into
us.
this movie and appreciate it, you have to have it in your head that Batman is a villain too.
I want to say, after all these years,
he doesn't even become Batman until the final act.
Yeah.
I would say that he doesn't even become Batman until Justice League. Like,
That's true.
Arguably, he doesn't become Batman until Justice League.
Correct.
Thank God we were wrong about Edwin and I were wrong about Affleck. All our ideas of them doing bad things. Like, because I remember Edwin and I just bitching about it in high school. I don't know if Drummer joined us. We were bitching.
No, I actually had hope because I saw the town and I was like, he's pretty good.
Oh, it was him. I don't know if we were bitching about Wonder Woman's casting too, but between him and Jesse Eisenberg.
No, I was pretty okay with Gal's casting.
Yeah, Jesse, but he's another topic for another segment.
Yeah. I really like Batman. I really like Superman in this movie. I really like how, since we're talking about Lex Luthor, I really like how they portrayed Lex Luthor in this movie because, I don't think if you're a billionaire with who grew up raised by a golden spoon, is that how the saying goes?
Silver
spoon. I don't think.
But I mean, if you want it to be a golden spoon, fine, I guess. Like, it's more valuable than a silver spoon.
I would picture someone like that acting in that manner. It's like, of course.
I completely fucking agree. Dude, literally, like Lex Luthor in the Zack Snyder universe is the only Lex Luthor that I see realistically existing. Like, if you wanted like a more traditional Lex Luthor, just like cast Giancarlo Esposito or something.
Yes.
That will give you your traditional Lex Luthor vibe. Maybe Bryan Cranston. I'd say the guy from Baby Driver, but like he had the worst coming out party in history. So it can't be him, and he's already been Lex Luthor in the past. So
yeah.
I think, if you as a person within the Gen Z era, the millennial era of history, would think of a crazy fucking billionaire with an inferiority complex, you'd think of Mark Zuckerberg. So they cast him. But there are arguments to be made that some of it does feel a bit weird, and I would agree with that. He does act like Jim Carrey sometimes, but that seems to be the main problem with a lot of these Zack Snyder villains. You know, we both got Jesse Eisenberg and Jared Leto acting a little too much like Jim Carrey in their roles for no reason at all. Like, for some reason, there are a lot of shades of Jim Carrey and Jim Carrey in both the Joker and fucking Lex Luthor, which is really weird. Because when you're thinking about Lex Luthor or the Joker, I don't think a lot of people think of Jim Carrey as like the peg for either. You know, maybe Joker, but like definitely not Lex. But I liked it. I personally liked it. And that speech he gave him, if God is all powerful, he cannot be all good. That shit hits me to this day. As a person who hates power, as a person who, like, if I had any superpower ever, I would just want to be a super soldier, so I can have, like, a chance against these supers, so I could kill them all. Like, I hate gods so much. Like, whether it's religious gods or gods in comic books, man, I just want to Kratos these motherfuckers. Like, I hate them. I hate the all-powerful so much. And I agreed with this Lex Luthor, even though he looked and acted like a bitch.
Like that line he says that God is all powerful, he can't be all good. Like, I imagine if that would be something Lex Luthor in the comics would say. Like, that's definitely a Lex Luthor line. I also like the thing of how people would react if there was a Superman, how their worldviews would change in an instant.
Again, it's like if you take Jesse Eisenberg out of the equation and you look at Lex Luthor's lines on the fucking script, they're Lex Luthor lines.
Yeah.
Like,
just delivered as Jim Carrey.
I would say that feeding someone a Jolly Rancher is not a Lex Luthor movie.
There we go. That's the candy. Fuck. I was trying to get it.
Yeah, so Chupa Chups.
I was like,
Chupa Chups. Dude, I could see Lex Luthor shooting hoops indoors. You know, I don't necessarily see him feeding one of his investors a Jolly Rancher, but.
I'm talking about the fucking lines. We're talking about the lines.
That shit's scripted. There's no way that Jesse Eisenberg improv feeding someone a Jolly Rancher.
Was it though? That's the question now. Like, we need to have this fucking answered. Was that Jolly Rancher scene actually in the script?
Dude, it was too much. There was too much movement for it not to be. And Zack Snyder, we know at this point that he has a weird thing for scripting food into fucking movies. Remember the best Flash scene in history? Hot dog. Like, Jesus Christ, he has a weird thing for scripting food into parts that it wouldn't necessarily make sense to script it into. But yeah, like, you could argue that he didn't act like Lex Luthor, but he definitely spoke like Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
How do you feel how Superman was handled in this movie?
Oh dear.
In BVS or just generally?
Is it a positive or a negative of how he was
in
BVS?
used in this movie? Yeah.
For me, it's a positive.
I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing.
I love Henry Cavill.
Like how he took out the terrorist. Like, come on. Like, yeah, that's how a Superman, superhuman would take out a fucking terrorist. Have him a gunpoint, and then next, the person's just gone.
If that general testified
And there's like a
in
hole
court,
in the back.
if the general testified in court, he'd be like, he threw me, I can't feel my spine. I wish I could feel my legs again.
Well, brother,
the UN's paperwork's like up.
Like some snarky motherfuckers just gonna be like, well, if you could feel your spine, that would be a problem now, wouldn't it, sir? Your spine is right where it's supposed to be, not felt. I can't walk anymore, though. Yeah, but you shouldn't have been talking shit to Lois Lane now, shouldn't have you? Huh?
Yeah, I like how Superman is trying to find his purpose.
Shouldn't have held her at gunpoint now, would ya?
Yeah.
What I will say about Superman, about his portrayal in BVS, and I think Man of Steel can bleed into this too, is that Superman is so rightly hesitant about his existence.
Yeah.
Like, if like my problem with MCU guys, and you know you didn't want to bring the MCU into this, but I will. One thing that I have a problem with in the MCU is all of the heroes. They take a certain amount of responsibility and shrug another amount off. If it matters enough to their emotions, they're willing to let the world fucking die. But Superman is miserable every day because of his own existence and because of what his very presence attracts. And it took all the way till 2016 for the MCU heroes to even kind of take responsibility for it. And I think it was also instigated by the fact that Man of Steel existed. You know, that they wanted to incorporate collateral damage into their storylines and have their heroes take responsibility for it. And this was always the route that I think Superman was going to take. And I think it's great that he was as conflicted and as miserable about it as he was, because if I were that powerful and if I ran into another 3 Kryptonians that wanted to just fuck shit up, I would feel like shit about the aftermath. I wouldn't be, you know, smiling at everybody and be like, "Oh, save the day." Wait, no, that's Bane. But you guys get what I mean.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. They wouldn't.
If you're that
Superman would be
powerful,
shawarma after.
Oh yeah. You want to get shawarma after? I don't know what it is. I've been in Kansas all my life, but I want to try shawarma. He is the Superman that should exist in this world.
Yeah.
He is the beacon of hope in a complicated world.
Yes.
He is the most powerful man in the world, and he is handling it as a man would.
Yeah.
He's handling it as best as he could. He's not perfect, and he's learning, but bad shit will happen along the way just because of how big of a being he really is. Bruce's reaction to it, perfectly natural, a little xenophobic, but natural enough. So, like, I really have very few complaints about how Henry Cavill as Superman has been portrayed. I think there's more positives to this than negatives.
I do love that scene though.
Wait, Jomar.
Yeah, go.
For the record, before you go on, for the record, since we're gonna eventually keep bringing the MCU into this, sometimes in the review, we are all fans of the MCU and Marvel.
Yes.
As a whole.
My favorite show right now is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So if you say that, like, I am just talking shit about the MCU, I will tell you that I am talking shit about the MCU. But that doesn't mean that I don't like it. You know what franchise I hate more than most other franchises? Star Wars. And I love that shit. Just because I'm shitting on something doesn't mean I don't like it, so you can go fuck yourself, bro.
Evan, for the record, your feelings on the MCU.
Me?
Edwin.
Oh, okay.
Look,
the MCU?
Winter Soldier is one of my favorite movies. Like, I love the fucking MCU. Like, I will shit on it any goddamn day of the week, but I fucking love it. Like,
yeah, I know Jomer loves it. And like, we share.
Yeah, I love Winter Soldier. I love Iron Man too. I have grown to.
You love Iron Man too?
Iron Man 2?
Excuse me?
Oh no, the first one.
Oh, okay.
Or is it like 2, like TOO?
Yeah, TOO.
TOO. Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus.
Which one?
I was about to say, I want my board that that you were like, I forgive everything else that happened in Iron Man 2. But I love my board. It's one of the best lines ever written in cinematic
That's the shit.
And the Mark V suit-up scene is enough to make up for the fact that the hammer tech was complete garbage.
Yeah, no, the first Iron Man movie, Winter Soldier, I have grown to like I've grown to sort of like Ragnarok.
I think Ragnarok's great now, just because of the sheer square the square inch number of memes that you can get out of it. There's just so many.
Doctor Strange is also a really good movie.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is alright.
Hey, okay, yeah.
Doctor Strange is I don't think it's amazing. I think it's visual.
I really liked it. In my opinion, I'm sorry.
Jomer and I have been about Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it's a really good movie for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, those are my thoughts on the MCU. Endgame was a fucking tearjerker for me.
Same here.
Yeah, so like
I think Endgame is a better experience than it is a movie.
for sure.
Like
sure.
it's definitely
As a movie, it has several problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As an
But, like,
experience,
as an experience, you don't care, and you shouldn't, because it's such a great experience. Like the fact that like when you're on the final fucking battle scene, you completely forgot that like when Cap, like straps his broken shield onto his arm, you completely forgot that they snapped everyone back into existence. Like,
Yeah.
oh shit! Right? Yeah, everyone's. Oh shit! They have backup. Oh my god! And Sam did the on your left thing. Oh my god! Then you forget that they just completely fucked time travel.
Yeah.
Like they just completely changed the concept of it, but like whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah. I like Iron Man 1, Guardians, Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, all that jazz. I really like the MCU. I think it's a really cool franchise. As one echo the sentiments saying that Endgame is it's one of the best experiences I've had in my college life, because the cheers when Cap gets the hammer is like, oh my
Yes.
god. Like, what?
Yes.
yeah, Endgame is a fucking experience.
Like
The tangent we went on.
how good the experience it is of being there with a group of fans who will mark out just as hard as you will to certain scenes, and just coming together with all of these people. That's way better to me than a completely cohesive and flawless plot. Like
Mark
if
with
you
a
can
Q?
have
Mark with a Q.
Stop
no
it.
okay, in wrestling, marking out is basically
Oh, okay.
you've
Just saying.
completely bought into the narrative. Like you're not
Got it.
thinking about all of the flaws. You're just in this moment. Like when you're in wrestling, there's a suspension of disbelief. Like you will not buy into the fact that the Undertaker's actually dead. But there will be certain moments where you can't just help but buy into that character. And to me, Endgame has a lot of elements that you will mark out for.
Okay.
Like once Sam says on your left, you don't care that none of the shit that they said about time travel makes sense. Because Sam's on his left. And everyone's coming out of the sparkly holes.
Yes.
To help them save the day.
The glory holes, if you will.
The glory holes of the sorcerers of I forgot what
Sorcerer
they're called.
Supreme.
Sorcerer Supreme.
The
Sorcerer's
Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Sorcerer Supreme glory holes.
Do you remember what you're about to say?
I think that's something that's commonplace with the MCU. They create better moments and they create good movies. And if you can have a group of people who are like traditionally reclusive and very scared to express themselves, actually let loose and just go, motherfucker! How can you complain? It's a good time.
And we're all looking forward to Black Widow, or whenever the fuck that comes out.
Dude, I just don't want Taskmaster to die. That's all I'm saying. I need Taskmaster and Thunderbolts.
We are getting really off topic.
Yeah. Anyway, Jomar, do you remember what
We
you were going to
got
say?
really.
I just wanted to put it on the record, just in case people come after us. Anyway,
Motherfucker, you went on a long ass tangent.
That was like-
we
like a
have
while.
unlimited time.
That was like 10 minutes.
We have unlimited time. I'm taking advantage of it.
No, look, this is a Batman v Superman video. If people are gonna hate, we need to commit.
Yeah, okay.
We can't do none of this peacekeeping bullshit.
Jomar, did you remember what you
I'm
were
here
going
to
to say?
start smoking.
Yeah, okay. Or just to bounce off what Seb was talking about, like where Superman is superhuman, doing things how a man would. Like how I really like that scene where I saw it on social media where he saves the little girl from a burning building and he's happy giving the kid back to his family. You saw that too.
No, because like I'm thinking of this moment where he's like saving a little girl, and then the little girl just looks at him and goes like, "Can I be like you someday?" Like this just keeps on happening every time a Justice League member rescues a little girl. Like, can I be like you someday? They'll be like,
Yeah, no.
"No, I'm a man."
Well, Well, just saying, Batman pretty much saved the little girl too, but she was too scared to say anything.
Can I be like you someday? Gone where are your parents?
Anyway, yeah. So he gives back the little girl, and he's happy. But then, as he puts down the little girl, everybody starts putting their hands on him, pretty much worshiping him as a god. And then his smile like just goes away, and he's like, "I don't want to be God.
Yeah.
I don't want you to worship me, please." I just love that scene.
I like
Yo.
how Neil deGrasse Tyson puts the whole concept of a Superman. Like it just
Yeah, he
questions.
was there.
Yes, he was there. He
Yeah.
just
Look
just-
how
Yeah,
we
he
got
was-
badass over here.
He was in the fucking movie, Jesus.
yeah. He said it's going to make us question our place in the universe, like how Copernicus putting the sun in the middle of the universe. How Charles Darwin's theory of evolution makes us change our perspective. Like, oh, we're not special anymore. Now with Superman, like, oh, we're not even special within this universe.
You know what? That's also something. I know this has nothing to do with the movie as a whole, but like, I love how there are certain people who think that somehow we're fucking superior beings in any way. Like, just because we built a couple of fucking buildings and we made a couple of good, nice fucking paintings, all of a sudden we think we're fucking hot shit. Like, there's literally a good majority of the world that read a book and was like, this is God. And like, we can't violate any of this shit because a book said so. Can you imagine if I lived my life according to what Detective Comics number 27 told me to do? Like, like we're not hot shit. Obviously, we can be influenced by like a bunch of well-written enough words. Like, we're not fucking special beings. Sorry. That was super out of topic.
You good there? You good there, Seb?
Yeah. Just speaking along the same line of just Henry Cavill as Superman, and what I'm about to say is sort of like leading into like it includes that and just sort of goes into the rest of the characters in this movie, which is just a lot of the hate this movie got is people complaining that these weren't their characters. Like, this was not Superman in the comics as he was known. This was not Batman in the comics as he was known. And the list goes on. But that's sort of the fucking point. And because the way Zack did these movies, including Man of Steel, is what happens when you put these larger-than-life characters into today's modern world. And his entire, like the shit he had planned out was the journey of how these heroes come to be those idealized versions of themselves. Because you look at Batman in BVS, and you're like, who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck? But then you look at Batman in Justice League. He is so much closer to Batman in the comics. Not there yet, but he's on that journey. And so is Superman when he comes back from the dead.
Yeah.
Literal paragon of hope.
Yes.
And
Agreed.
that just applies to sort of a lot of the characters in this film. Like, again, like Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. He starts out as Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
As Jim Carrey. Yeah.
Jim Carrey.
Then after that, he's bald Jim Carrey.
Yeah, and then he's bald Jim Carrey, which is, baby steps.
May I
Baby
just say
steps.
though, that even though people did not like his characterization, at least initially, this is the most comic accurate Lex Luthor we've ever gotten. No matter what anyone says. Because Lex Luthor was a ginger with shoulder-length hair. Until it was shaved off.
Wasn't it by radiation by the kryptonite or something? I forgot. Or you just shaved it?
No, it was kryptonite related, but yes.
Yeah.
He did start out as a crazy neurotic ginger who liked doing science experiments. But like, I'm gonna shit on the MCU again and say this. For those people that are saying this is not my Superman, this is not my Batman, this is not my Lex. none of the MCU characters apart from Captain America are accurate. Iron Man has never been that humorous.
Yes.
Black Widow has never not talked with a Russian accent, except for ScarJo. Hawkeye's kind of the same, but a little too serious, actually, in Avengers. Loki has never been this interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Loki's never been this interesting. Cap looks like he's supposed to be in his 40s in the comics. What I'm saying is, your comic book characters don't have to be accurate to how you know them if it's better written or well written in general. Because none of that MCU shit you're looking at, none of that shit's like in the comics. Batroc is a fucking joke in the comics. And in the MCU, he's GSP. Think about that for a second. He's GSP and has nearly beaten Cap in a hand-to-hand fight with no powers. Mysterio used to literally always just be called Fishbowl Head. And now he's one of the best villains in all of the MCU. Thanos has been arrested by the NYPD successfully.
To call up his skin, man.
Successfully.
I forgot about that.
He's been arrested by the NYPD successfully.
He has a Thanos copter.
He has a Thanos copter. That's why his sword looked the way it was. It was a reference to the Thanos copter. You know what the Thanos copter is, kids? For the ones who don't know, it's a yellow helicopter with the word Thanos on the side. Not even in special font, just Arial. Just like... It wasn't even bold, dude. It was just Thanos. That's the Thanos copter.
I think that's what Jim Starlin hates the most about Endgame. They put the fucking Thanos copter blades in it.
I think he was cool with it, though.
He was?
Like,
It was right.
Jim Starlin is one of the few Marvel creators who don't have beef with Marvel over their portrayal of his characters. They actually give him more money than Marvel does for his comics that are printed out now. But yeah, he was even in Endgame, dude. So
Oh yeah.
he's in Endgame. He's in the support group, dude. Anyway, yeah, most of these characters that you've seen were fucking jokes in the comics. Like Zemo was kind of a joke in the comics. Like he wasn't bad, but he was not this. Like this is a complete rewrite of Zemo.
Yeah.
These are like the Phase 4 villains so far have been more well written than they've ever been in their entire existence. So please don't tell me that you're complaining about a character just because they're not how they were in the comics. You do not want Fishbowl Head in the MCU. You do not want
the Thanos copter.
Hold on. You do not want Batroc the Leaper. I guarantee you would definitely like, oh hey Batroc, the fucking hired gun, way better than the man who knows how to jump and is also very, very, very French. That is Batroc in the comics. He's a very French man who jumps. That is not... He's GSP, dude. So don't tell me you want comic accuracy. If it's better, it's better. Like, just because Batman like grabbed an AR-15 and bashed someone's head in doesn't mean it's bad. Like, come on, man. Just think about it. No one complains when the MCU is different from comics. But everyone decides to complain when DC fucking does it. Fucking chill, dog. That was related. That was right. It was okay that I talked about that. That was related.
Yeah, that was related.
So I want to say, I don't think I've ever thought Zemo was an interesting character in the comic. I was like, oh, it's Zemo. All right.
Zemo is the world's coolest sock in the comics.
I like
if you had to make a villain look like a giant sock, this is the best way to do it. I like Zemo, but like, come on, let's be real. Like, when we've read Captain America comics and watched Captain America shows, what was Zemo to us? And I'll tell you what Zemo was to all of us, okay? The guy Captain America would fight if Red Skull was busy. Let's be real. That's what he was, right? That's what you knew him as. He's the B villain to fucking Red Skull? Like, why is
The
Red Skull
fucking
not here?
Psycho.
Yeah, he's just the Captain America side villain. Like, now he's like the coolest motherfucker ever. Like, think about
I
it.
can
Like,
send a text. Red Skull's busy. What you doing?
Zemo text Cap, you up?
You up?
He's a side bitch. That's so sad.
He's just a side bitch. But now he's a full-on buffet on his own. Like, the MCU in Phase 4 has written more good villains than Marvel Comics has. And that really says something. The fact that I want to see more of Batroc is a fucking miracle. If you told me 10 years ago that Batroc was going to be really cool, I would have slapped you in the face. But not just because you told me Batroc was going to be really cool, but just generally 10 years ago, I would have just slapped anyone in the face. But that's beside the point. If it's better written, if it's good, it doesn't matter if it's accurate. People are allowed to have portrayals of these characters. No one ever complained about Red Sun because Batman was, a Soviet. It was a good portrayal of the characters. So, like, let these creators have a good enough amount of creative license. It's only bad if it's bad. It's only bad if, like, Luke Skywalker finds his lightsaber recovered by Rey and just throws it over a cliff. It's only bad when it's like that.
Yeah,
Smiling
it's always
Jamar.
bad when it's like that.
It's a
And
discussion for another time.
Shit, I forgot.
What are we talking about
add on
again?
to that point.
This is Friday afternoon.
Gotta go.
Dude, I just felt
Yeah,
Edwin's soul leave his body when I described the lightsaber being thrown over the cliff. I could just feel him just go like, "Hello, darkness."
Just
my
me,
old
just fucking
friend."
dissociate. To add on to what Seb was saying, there seems to be this mentality.
I need to
that-
take a piss. Just continue on without me. I'm sorry.
Jesus
Sorry.
Christ! Video was going on for so long that Enzo needs to take a piss.
Sorry. This video was really cool. I'll be back.
keep
I'm
it
sorry.
on. Bottle on you, man.
Keep going.
This is the second
One.
time we've lost
Just
the
act
host.
like an Amazon employee and bring a bottle with you.
Okay. I'll be back.
Just hear pissing sounds on camera. Well, again, just to add on to what Seb was saying, there seems to be this mentality that comic book portrayals are gospel, and that film adaptations have to adhere
Or it's sacrilege.
These- to these comic book portrayals, otherwise it's shit.
Yeah.
But I would make the argument that these films have every right to stand on the same level of affording that creative freedom to different writers to portray these characters in a way that's unique to them.
I mean, come on, Wolverine is 6'2".
I
Wolverine
got a
is
lot to
6'2".
say about that. That's out of topic. I don't like
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Why would you make Wolverine that emotional? Wolverine's never been that emotional. Like, the reason I loved Wolverine in comics...
That's another one. That's another one.
Exactly.
That's another thing to add on to your point.
Yeah.
Wolverine in
People
the
like
movies
that.
is nothing like he is in the comics.
Yeah,
Dude, I've
but
never,
people
I've
still
never
like it,
seen
and they
Wolverine
complain.
cry that much. He cries a lot. It's like ABS-CBN
Yeah.
wrote Wolverine. That's just my opinion on it.
Well, he lost
Like-
his suit.
From channel Wolverine.
What did I come back
I
to?
think I think Hugh Jackman's Wolverine was good in Logan and nothing else. That's all I'm gonna say about
I'm
that.
sorry, man. This is not about BVS anymore, Enzo.
I need to change the title.
Just edit shit out, bro. We're getting all over the place. But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, change the title.
Oh,
So you have fun with the title.
No, what you do is you release an edited version onto YouTube. You start a fucking Patreon, and you put the full version up on Patreon for your patrons.
That's I would say so, yeah. Don't put this in, by the way.
And then you open up a Discord server where people can talk about politics, and they just fucking go on forever and talk about how Ghost of Tsushima was fucking vanilla shit.
No, I'm not joining that Discord group. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna join that Discord group.
A white-ass man talking about a Japanese video game as if he understands what it means to have an authentic Japanese experience. Sorry. That was super out of topic. You gotta edit this shit out.
I gotta say, Enzo, you gotta put some time into this episode.
This is all just a very complex ploy on our part.
Like, we were supposed to talk about
use
BBS.
editing software.
Like, come on, man. We were supposed to talk about BVS, then we started talking about Zack Snyder instead.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the
honestly, this isn't a movie review anymore. This should be
a podcast.
This is a podcast. This is a podcast episode. Like, we have gotten so off topic so many times, and we have gone on for so fucking long. We're literally an hour in, and we're not even like halfway through.
Let's go back on track.
Yeah, you're our host. You gotta make sure we get back on track, man.
I'll try to do that more.
Do your job, you fucking donkey.
Anyway, back on track. I think one of the things we would agree on is the most badass part of BBS, aside from the warehouse fight, is Wonder Woman scene. Her debut.
All right, what I will say about Wonder Woman in her debut movie was that I did not see a lot of characterization, but I also did not see a lot of things that I hated. Like, at this point, it was a lot of vague Diana shit. Like, I don't think they did a good job of, like, setting her up or, like, having us get to know who the fuck Diana is. But, like, we were just like, I like what I see. She looks very dangerous and very intelligent. But I didn't know. I don't think I knew Diana.
Cameo.
Yeah, it is a cameo, but, like, another thing about BVS in general as a whole, and this DCEU thing as a whole, is that they did not. It's an impossible job done to the best of the ability of someone who shouldn't have been asked to do this job.
Yeah.
Because it's Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I think it should have just been a Batman v Superman movie. I don't think Diana was supposed to be in the movie, but here the fuck she is. She was great in the final fight. I think her costume is tremendous. I think Gal Gadot looks absolutely stunning as Diana, as Wonder Woman. The action scenes were amazing. I think she's cool as hell. But do we know her as a character? No. But this was a great trailer for Diana.
Yeah, this was basically a trailer for her.
Yeah,
it was.
I mean, that scene still gets me hyped up when she blocks Doomsday's beams and the theme goes on. It's like, oh, fuck yeah.
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 We all start singing it.
Yeah.
Wow.
We covered most of the positives. Is there anything else you want to add?
Fight scenes, man. Oh.
Fight scene. Oh, the warehouse scene. Oh.
Dude, no, not just the warehouse scene. Batman versus Superman fight scene. God damn, that was.
And the Batmobile scene.
Dude. Diana getting decked in the jaw by Doomsday and just smiling right after.
Oh yeah, that was hot.
Best scenes ever. That was hot as all hell. Like, so many women turned into lesbians for a quick second, and I would know. I have watched this movie with like straight women who doubted their sexuality right after they watched that scene. Diana's just a really great character, man. Like, just watching her is really great. She's such a consummate badass. There's not a lot that you could complain about when it comes to Diana. Like, the only complaint I have with Diana is, like, she set the standard so high that there was no way Captain Marvel was gonna do any better. So, but yeah, like, she was shoehorned into this movie, but effectively shoehorned.
It didn't feel rushed, in my opinion. Oh, maybe a bit, but I mean, it was nice. It felt nice seeing
shoehorned, but not rushed, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. Shoehorned, but not rushed.
That warehouse scene, like, what live-action Batman fight scene came before that blew all of our minds through the roof. Like,
Dude,
holy
Nothing,
shit!
nothing comes close.
I was
I-
rewatching the fight scene and I was analyzing every bit of it. And the amount of times I've watched BVS, I didn't notice it, but when Batman threw his batarang at one dude, it cut the gun in half. I was like, seriously, watch that warehouse scene again and you'll see it. He cuts the gun in half with a batarang. I was like, all right.
I think the warehouse scene is probably the coolest action scene I've seen in a superhero movie. Like maybe the Winter Soldier versus Cap scene.
Captain America, yeah.
And Winter Soldier is like somewhere there, but like
Ali, bro.
in terms of like just sheer holy shitness, that warehouse scene was fucking crazy because he shoots out of the fucking floor and these motherfuckers are still looking at the floor because of how fucking quick all of that happened. And we see Batman do everything from fucking sling blades to fucking throwing grenades at people. He full on chokeslams someone through the ground at one point. Like, how is this even a human? And he doesn't feel human. He feels like a force of nature. You weren't even there for a fight. You were there just to take it and let it happen.
I will
One
say,
dude who got the grappling hook stuck on him, and then Batman just pushes him through the hole he came out of.
Dude, he defied the laws of physics. He punched him this way. The guy went that way.
You remember?
And went into the hole.
Dude, remember that one overhand that he did? That one overhead? And then this guy full on breaks his neck into the floor.
Like he's scorpions. He
yeah,
into a scorpion. I was like, oh my god.
Exactly. Like, what a hit. Like, Mike Tyson, watch out, you know?
This is also the fighting that showed how dangerous boxes are, like cargo boxes are. Because in the theater version, he throws a box at someone, the guy slams against the wall. Yeah. In the ultimate version, he throws the box, the guy slams into the wall, and the back of his head explodes. It's like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
I do love it. It's messy. Like you see Batman being shot in the head, being cut at the head.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Being stabbed. I was like,
yeah.
He still takes hits.
Yeah.
He's not
He's
an
not
untouchable god.
he's not Superman.
I think that's also that's an intentional detail because I think in Batman's youth he was a lot faster than that. I think they are trying to show that they are giving us the Dark Knight Returns Batman. And it was dirty, it was rough, it was fucking beautiful. This is the most dangerous Batman has ever felt to me. And the fact that it wasn't sloppy was something I really loved because that was my biggest problem with like Dark Knight trilogy fight scenes.
Understood. Like I wasn't a fan of the whole elbow thing. Well, like throw a punch.
I think there were too many cuts in the Nolan fight scenes. And also like, just really bad choreography in general. Like you guys saw Dark Knight Rises when one guy just pretended to take a punch that wasn't thrown at him.
The guy who just fell by himself.
Yes, when Wonder Woman was in there. Wonder Woman, sorry. Catwoman.
Yes.
My bad.
Yes, cat female.
Cat female.
Best DC action ever. Like the Snyderverse is all of the best DC action ever.
Yes.
That is not to be argued. No DC thing has ever done better action than the Snyderverse has. The only complaint that people have is the nature of the action because people die. And my argument is, so it's only okay if massive amounts of Chitauri die?
Ooh.
Is it okay?
Chitauri lives matter, bro.
It doesn't
Chitauri lives matter, bro.
Chitauri lives don't matter.
Yo, but I will say though, that like before the warehouse scene, we get a really good fight scene where he's in Apocalypse, like he's in the dream. And Batman was living his best. Yeah, he's living his best life. Him snapping necks, shooting people with like no hesitation. He's just having a good
time, man.
He's using the rifle as a baseball bat, dude.
One thing I will say though, I don't know why the SWAT team wasn't shooting at him from a distance, but they just kept running at him.
Because well, for one, I think his suit's bulletproof. But the other thing is just that Zach told them to do it.
Yeah.
But that scene ends with Larry the Parademon
like punch him in the back of the head.
Yeah,
But, yo,
yeah.
I love that
This is
scene,
for
though.
Gary.
It took 7 or multiple dudes holding Batman for this parademon to just knock him in the head.
This is why
I
I love
love
this
that.
movie so much.
Yeah.
Like, look how much of a badass Batman is. It takes an entire team of people and Larry the Parademon to take him out. What a great portrayal of Batman. What a beefy boy.
What a beefy boy.
Did you all like the titular fight, the Batman versus Superman?
I think
yeah,
it's the best. Like next to the actual comic fight and next to the actual animated movie fight. Like I'd say these are like equal, if not like the Frank Miller one being slightly better.
Because he had a super suit. Like, he had like an exoskeleton in that one.
Yeah.
He also had an exoskeleton here. It was basically the same suit. Like, I honestly don't know. Like, I honestly don't know what I find better. Because, like, the animated movie's basically the exact same thing in the book. But, like, in real-time motion. And this one here was just sick. But I don't know if I love the Dark Knight Returns fight more in this one. But I do love the fact that they pulled out a kitchen sink. That was fucking hilarious. Like, people think this movie had no humor. He hit him with a kitchen sink.
He threw everything at him, including the kitchen sink.
Dude, yo, just imagine the scare of Superman, the most powerful man in the universe, being taken out by a sink. Just the fear in him. Am I gonna die from a sink, really?
My thing is also the thought process of Batman when that was gonna happen. He was like, I guess I'm throwing everything at him, including the kitchen sink.
The scene I
Like,
love the most is when Batman's decking Superman, and slowly but surely he's regaining,
like,
he's
just
recovering from the kryptonite. He just stares at him like, "Hey, what's up?"
Like, his fist stops, like, just stops affecting him. I was like, uh-oh.
And then Batman's like, "Wait, hold on, time out."
Joke lang.
Pasensya na po, sir. God bless.
Grabs for the grenade launcher, tries to hurry up, reload it. But yeah, that was a beautiful
Okay,
scene.
I want to say something that's kind of for the negative parts or the nitpick parts.
Okay, hold on, before we move to the negative parts.
Yes, sir.
We have not addressed the elephant in the room. We have not addressed the fucking Martha scene.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Do you wanna save that for the negatives, or are we already in the negatives?
It's not a negative to me.
It's not a negative to me.
I'll
All
move
right,
the.
I thought you guys got it in negative. All right, go.
Yeah, this is one of the scenes I want to talk about is the Martha scene.
All right.
Since Jomer's kind of hinting that he did like it, let's just go on that.
Okay.
Do you want to save that for later, or do you want to get into it now?
No,
Let's save it
because
for.
I don't mind. I thought you guys hated it.
Let's say
All right, let's just carry on. Carry on,
I
and
didn't fucking hit it.
yeah, I'll just do that for the scenes that I want to pick out, cherry pick. But for now, yeah, that's a really good fight between two iconic superheroes. But yeah, the last fight between Doomsday is like, I wish they didn't use Doomsday, but at the same time, I'm really glad they did, because what else would be a bigger threat for Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman for them to have to team up and take on?
I mean, Doomsday's definitely gonna fucking come back, but yeah, I like that they incorporated Doomsday into this. I never want to see him come back, by the way, even though he definitely will, because Doomsday's always been way too fucking powerful. I don't want to see this fucker again. He's just another way too long Zack Snyder fight waiting to happen. And I'm terrified of the day he'll come back. I liked his design and how it evolved into slowly actually looking like the Doomsday we're used to, because that's exactly how it worked. Because like I think when he looked like, harder Gollum, like from Lord of the Rings, I mean, like a harder version of Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
He's a cave troll.
Yeah, he's a cave troll from Witcher 3. Yeah. When he was slowly, getting the excess calcium from all of the beating he was taking, I was like, oh, he's starting to look like Doomsday now.
Yeah.
I like how this looks like now. I think he was really powerful. He did Doomsday's job. Like, as much as Doomsday is a character with zero substance at all, he did his job really well. And his job is to give everyone a fucking hard time and maybe kill Superman. And he did all of those jobs perfectly. I'm not sure how I feel about Doomsday sharing Lex Luthor DNA, but it is what it is. If you had to do it that way, then whatever, man. Get your shit in.
Go ahead. I will say, the only nitpick I have from that fight was, you could have given the spear to Diana. Why did it have to be Superman?
But she was holding him down, though.
I looked.
She was holding him down, though. She was
Yeah, but
lassoing
Superman could have.
Palit sila.
Palit sila nga. Palit sila, fuck.
I actually genuinely don't think they had time to do that, even though they could have. But
sure,
yeah, that's a funny nitpick, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of like nitpicking the whole like Pa Kent could have allowed Superman to save him thing.
Yeah.
You know,
That-
I think it's the same deal.
Yeah. It was just a little nitpick. Like, you could have given it to the one who's skilled at it. But yeah, I see why they did it, because you need
Fucking
to build up.
Superman, he's skilled at everything.
But something you just gotta buy into.
Yeah.
I like how Batman was noping half the time. It's like, nope, I'm out of here. I need to hide.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that Zack has done this twice over. Like, Batman is literally just fighting the small dudes every time. And the entire time they fought Doomsday, Batman was just like, so what do I do? Let me grapple from place to place. I think, let me get that Dark Knight Returns shot in. That's right. I think this is genuinely how Batman should like react to these gods versus gods fights. He really wouldn't have anything to do with it. All he could do is like take care of possible collateral because he's a fucking person.
I mean, he shot a kryptonite at him. I guess that was helpful. But
he tried to help, but like he can't go like he can't walk up to Doomsday and throw a punch.
No, he can't.
He get back.
I
I
think the overarching sentiment for Batman and the Snyderverse is just he's trying.
Yeah,
trying.
It's like, what's Batman doing? And everyone's just like, his best.
I mean, it makes more sense than Tony taking on Thanos by himself. Like, is that the smartest move he can do?
To be fair, Tony is already wearing armor that's meant to take pretty much anyone on. So that's fine. But Batman is still Batman wearing Batman suits that were meant for men. So
like, shit, I don't have my armor.
He wasn't in his Night Owl armor, so it makes sense for him not to even try. But like Batman really wouldn't function like that in a God versus God fight. You know, Batman can just swing around and just be like, I'm Batman. I'm Batman. What's he gonna do to Doomsday? Throw fucking singles at him? Just be like, how'd you defeat Doomsday? I bought the Doomsday.
I'm gonna heat up this old woman's porridge. Would you like some soup, madam?
God. This is the show, ladies and gentlemen.
So these are just the endless number of memes.
Yeah. Since you
shout out to anybody who gets that reference.
Anything else to add to the positives?
Positives? I mean, we're gonna be talking about the Martha scene later, so
yeah.
That'll still be positively.
Gal Gadot fine as hell.
Yeah, she's fine as hell.
That's all I gotta say.
Like, everything Aquaman said about her when he sat on her lasso in Justice League, I agree with that.
Yeah. That was us.
Yeah,
that
was
was
just us.
That was us speaking.
Yeah.
Truly.
So this is kind of the in-between section, but I'm going to cherry pick some scenes. So the Martha scene, is it a negative or a positive for you guys?
I think it's a positive.
Positive.
I think it's an
I
easy
also
fucking
think it's a-
positive.
Is one of my favorite things.
Yeah, it's an okay scene for me. I buy it. It's fine. I don't really hate it.
People often ask like, why didn't he just call her mom? I think
Wow.
Superman was also trying to differentiate like
Clark Kent from Superman.
yeah, he was just like he knew that he was under investigation by Batman. So he knew like he has to mention his mother by name to a certain degree. I don't think it would have worked that well for him to say mom. And I think he also did his research on Batman. So like I'm sure Batman would have been reading Martha's files as Martha Kent. You know, he's not calling her Ma Kent. So he would have been saying save Martha. So like he's saying like why you gotta do that, man? Like why you gotta call her Martha? It made sense because to him, like he was someone under investigation by Batman. They were investigating each other. And I think it would have made sense for him to call her Martha because he's not trying to be Clark right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And either way it delivered the message because I think this was the turning point for Batman. Whether or not people like the execution of it or not, I think it was great. And this is where Batman fucking realized, I've been here before. Like this exact fucking situation of being helpless and scared when I was a fucking kid. Joe Chill having a gun to my parents' fucking faces. And I couldn't do anything about it now. And now this guy, his mom is out somewhere and Clark can't fucking do anything about it. But this time, Bruce has the opportunity to fucking stop it. This time he can do something about that kid. And he realized he was the bad guy here. He realized that he's been wrong. He dehumanized Superman. And this led to their fight. This led to their conflict. And Batman snapping out of that was something he needed. That was something the movie and the whole narrative itself needed. It was a great moment. And it was a moment that made a lot of people cry and a lot of other people scratch their heads. But the fact that it made a lot of people cry and really feel something, how bad can that be? You know? It's a good scene to me.
I was one of those people from when I watched it first time. I was like, what? Until like I watched like people explaining it. I was like, all right. Especially Seb, I've had this talk with you before when we met in person. But you're like, yeah.
Remember back then when people met in person?
Yeah.
I remember those days. Yeah, 2019.
That was 2 years ago. God damn it.
2 years, yeah.
Fucking shit.
God damn.
Anyway, back to the movie.
Anyway, how do you feel about Superman's death? Do you feel like it's rushed or was it necessary?
It was rushed, but it was like there's no going back anymore. They introduced Doomsday, so we knew where it was gonna go. So like, they put out so many shit that like we couldn't go back from that.
I think I prefer his death here than I do in like the comics.
Yeah, because Doomsday and Superman just knocked each other out. It's like, I guess neither one.
No, I mean like that's fine. But like my problem is kind of how he was brought back to life in the comics. Like in the comics, he kind of just recharged himself by sheer fact that he is Superman.
Deus
And
Ex
he's like,
Machina
I
type deal.
didn't really die. My body just needed the rest. But here they were like, I think we need to energize this fucker back to life. And they did. He had to put on the suit that like captured more sunlight. Like to me, the Justice League way of resurrecting him was great. The BVS way of killing him was also great. They kept on giving this fucker no choice situations. He did his best. He got killed by Doomsday. He had to finish Doomsday off, and in the process, also finish himself off. It was a good death, better than in the comics, and his resurrection later on was way better. So I liked his death here. I liked his death here a lot.
I still prefer the Death of Superman version, in my opinion, where the Justice League just like couldn't stop this guy. It was all up to Superman. Like Flash tried, everybody tried, Batman tried, from afar. But like,
really try though.
did the Flash really try?
Dude, when Superman stabbed him with the spear and Diana was still holding Doomsday back, the Batman was just like paused at ADS.
I was
Like he was just ADSing.
See Armuna.
The guy who was playing Batman went to the bathroom real quick. When he got back, he's like, "Oh shit, that looks important."
But yeah, I don't know. I still prefer the death of Superman's way of how they did Doomsday and Superman.
Okay.
Just like a one-on-one brawl between him and Doomsday. I kind of like that more.
So there's
And then
another
this
scene that we kind of missed or skipped over is the Granny speech tease scene.
To be honest, I like that scene. I like that scene.
You like the
It was
fact that he
creepy.
took
It was
the
creepy.
time to
To
piss
take a
in the
piss in a
jar
jar? Yeah.
and put it on the senator's desk?
Yeah, it was sinister. It was like,
To
oh
the
shit.
to the people who say there's no fucking humor in this film, I will.
There it is. There it is.
Dude, I think this is part of Zack Snyder's
That
weird
was
fetishy
funny.
humor. I think it's part of Zack Snyder's weird fetishy humor. Because like that was at least 2 pee sessions right there, I think.
Yeah, it was.
You know, like that was a lot of if it really was pee.
It was.
If it really was pee, then that's a lot of pee. And he really
Mr.
took the
Luthor,
time
you're
out.
done
He's
yet?
like,
Yeah, so either that was 2 sessions or somebody has a fucking UTI.
yeah, it was a lot of pee.
That was unhealthy yellow. Just saying, that was an unhealthy kind of yellow.
Yeah, that was like, bro, you need some electrolytes type of yellow.
There's some water.
Or it could have just been apple juice. We can't really tell at this point. But like, I think it was just symbolic or whatever.
Yeah.
But I thought that was funny.
Just next to your hey.
Like,
I don't
If
know.
that
I would
w-
work that hard for a joke, I think.
if that was
I mean, he
me,
blew
you would
everybody
think-
up though.
If that was me, you think she would smell it while speaking?
No,
Just
it was
as-
like cling wrap, like on top, or like
Was
was
it?
it sealed? It
No,
was sealed.
it was,
It was in a
open.
mason jar, dog.
Yeah, it was in a mason jar, but it was sealed.
Yeah.
Was it sealed? I
Yeah.
don't-
Like
Right.
It was
before
sealed.
you
It was
walk,
sealed. It was
yeah,
sealed.
before you walk into the courtroom, you'll be like, "What the fuck is that?"
Turns to the person, did you piss your pants in the middle of this trial?
But to be honest, the first time watching that, when she turned like the tea, and the courtroom blew up, I was like, "Was the bomb in the tea? Was the bomb in the pee?" I was like, "Wait, no." Henry Salamanca did it. I forgot.
You mean Hector? Who's Henry?
Hector
Salamanca?
Salamanca. Sorry, Hector
go.
Salamanca.
I will say though that like whatever you say about the piss in the jar thing, the thing I remember most about that scene is how unaffected like Clark was technically. Like the way they framed it was everything blew up and Clark could do nothing about it. He's so fuck. Like nothing was happening to him. Nothing was happening to him at all because he's fucking Superman. But everything around him just blew up and he's like, fuck.
Like,
God damn it.
Like,
even the gel in his hair was fine.
Exactly. I like how that was framed. I think that was super cool. It was a really nice
I really
shot.
like that shot.
Yeah, same here.
Just portrays how helpless he was with the situation and how much guilt he was feeling from the fact na wala siyang magawa at all.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And it also like showcases Lex's ability as Superman's villain. Like he has the ability to do this thing to make the most powerful man in the world
Neil.
be powerless.
Yeah.
And the fact that he kind of heard it before it blew up was also really nice.
Yeah.
Like, just as he thought he could do something about it, boom! You looking for this? It was too late. Dante turned him into a tree.
Tree.
Since we're on
Tree.
the negative parts already, any other negatives you want to add?
The cinematic cut, the theatrical cut.
The
that's
cinematic
negative.
Where nothing went nowhere. It's like, where's that thread
is
going
negative.
nowhere?
At the end of the day, like, the theatrical cut of BVS is still not as bad as any of the cuts of Suicide Squad. Like, there are things to love about the theatrical cut of BVS. It's just that when you've seen the director's cut, you're just like, you could have just put all this shit in there.
Yeah.
But like, no matter which cut of the Suicide Squad you see, you're still like, this is shit.
It is.
It's pretty shit. I don't like this shit at all. What the fuck am I watching? That's one of the negatives. The theatrical cut was like a waste. Like they could have just added those 15 minutes and made it a way better movie. Like they would have not run. They wouldn't have run into this problem if they just added those 15 minutes. And it was just 15 minutes, dog. Just do it. Stop fucking up your own universes. Just like give yourself a fighting chance, dog.
Who knew that cutting those minutes out would make the entire universe almost collapse on itself? It's like, shit, it's a black hole almost at this point.
Yeah, and DC decided, you know what we should do next time? Cut an hour out. Let's cut an hour and a half out of this movie. Because this is exactly where we need to go with this. An hour and a half, take out all the humor, make Henry Cavill look like he has the mumps. This is how we get the audience going. This is exactly what they want. Jesus Christ.
Since we saw the Snyder cut already, like watching BVS again, this is kind of a nitpick. It's like when the general is just watching the fight, it's like, you can do something, man.
Where were you? Where were you?
I was busy doing general shit.
Like, excuse yourself from the president. Like, Mr. President, I have to go somewhere. I'll be quick, I promise.
CR Muna.
CR Muna, wait lang. But
I think need to suit up, dude. He just has to just morph.
He just trends.
Yeah.
I think in Justice League he's finally retiring. Like the army doesn't need him anymore, and that's why he's just switching.
You know what? That's the only logical explanation for why he sat out everything.
Yeah.
That right there was like, oh, all right, I can buy into that. Like he's too busy with his 9 to 5 to join the Justice League, and I was like, it's all right. I'm retired. I got my pension. I'm set.
If I'm letting him go,
do superhero shit now. Yeah,
like you know, being
funny.
Being a general
midlife
face well.
crisis.
I'll transform into Superman's mom.
When he buys like a 70s Corvette or some shit. Living his best life now.
All right, back on topic.
Right, sorry.
Do you like the cameos by the other members of the Justice League?
No. I'll be the first one to say that now. No, I did not like that. My first introduction to Cyborg, Flash, and
was through an
Aquaman
email.
Was through a weird, sketchy email. Like, it's like someone was sending you like amateur sex tapes. Like, why would you want to introduce everyone via sketchy email?
Before sending the sex tape, it's like, I know who you are.
Exactly, it's so weird. It's so weird. Like if I were Diana, I'd be like, "Oh shit, he knows what I did in the 80s. I was young. I was stupid. I needed the money. I was kicked out of Themyscira. I needed a job." Like totally. Like if I were Diana, I'd be like, "Shit, he found my nudes." Like that entire sequence of the emails, I think shouldn't have been there at all. That was super dumb.
I feel like that would have been like a end credit kind of thing instead of like a middle.
I think they should have just found the footage instead of emailing each other like a creepy stalker and an influencer e-girl. You know, like just find it somehow. Just like infiltrate LexCorp, get the files, and then watch it together like a couple. Just. Why did you have to send it to her by email like a creep? I know who you are. Can I get your number? Can I get your number?
You gotta love how the person who put it in a top secret file took the time to design each person's logo too.
What a lovely
Somebody went to AutoCAD and designed it. I was like, wow.
What a lovely employee.
Hey, you're paying
Lex
good money
Luthor's
for this
graphic
shit.
artists get paid real well.
Yeah.
Graphic design is my passion, dude.
What else are the cons, though? to you guys? You think?
I think we covered most of them at this point.
Yeah, I really do not have much to complain about. Like when it comes to this movie, like you said it, Liz. It's like the theatrical cut is the negative.
That's the worst part about it. Those 15 minutes removed was the worst decision they made with this movie.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't think I got anything else to say. Yeah, because I got nothing.
Yeah. All right. What score would you give both the theatrical cut and the ultimate edition, if you've seen both?
I'm gonna the theatrical cut. I'm gonna give it a 6. But the ultimate cut, I'm gonna give it an 8.
Oh wow!
That's how much better it is. It's genuinely head and shoulders better than the theatrical cut. Like everything just makes more sense. All of the detail he put in gets more context, and it just all fits in together real well. So, like the theatrical cut is arguably, you can say that it's trash, but you will not be able to say the same thing if you see the ultimate edition.
I'll watch that right after this. I need to know what you're talking about.
Good.
Okay.
So what's your score for the theatrical cut then, John?
I'll go with a 6 as well. Like 6.5 at least. I'll give it because fight scenes, they were beautiful.
Right.
Jack Snyder knows how to do his fight scenes.
Mas beautiful ka, huwag kang magpatalo.
I think.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright.
I'm in a very similar place. Give the theatrical cut a 6, but honestly, I'd give the ultimate edition a fucking 9.
Damn, I really need to watch this thing now.
But
It's really good. It's really so much better. It's that much better.
All right.
You're watching a different movie, dude. You wouldn't know how much removing 15 minutes actually did. The
that's
fuck
a
this
really
movie
important
over.
15 minutes.
Yeah, it's actually a really important 15 minutes. It really makes or break the movie. I never thought that 15 minutes worth of footage would change my mind so much about a movie, but it does.
All right. How about you, Enzo? What's your rating?
I would give the theatrical version also a 6, and the ultimate edition an 8. I think it's a really good movie, and I hope as time goes on, it's viewed similarly as we all do, that it deserves much more love than it's gotten.
Oh, it's definitely already like a cult classic.
It is,
Oh, yeah.
it is,
Strangely enough.
Definitely. Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So that was our mostly cohesive Batman versus Superman discussion.
Was it though?
I wouldn't say cohesive. Just some of the shit you had to edit, bro. Like,
Oh, yes.
We can't keep those in there.
I'll say in advance that I am so sorry that you had to edit some of the things that I said.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. That was a big mistake on my part. I'm so sorry.
I am happy that you let it out in here, but not in Culture Pit.
Oh yeah, that's never gonna happen in Culture Pit. Dude, if it happened in Culture Pit, I just have to fucking delete the shit out of it. Never happened.
Yeah. Any DC, Marvel, or any other comic brand movies or shows that you're watching or looking forward to?
I am looking forward to Jupiter's Legacy. It's a Mark Millar book. I've never read it. I've never checked it out, but it seems really cool. It might feel along the lines of an Umbrella Academy, so I don't completely trust it because I don't really like Umbrella Academy too much.
Same.
Really?
But I am looking. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. I understand why all the hipsters and all the Gerard Way fans like it, but I am like, if I had to choose between watching, let's say, this, like Umbrella Academy, or fucking Doom Patrol is really superior. It's so good. Like, Doom Patrol, like, is a Grant Morrison, like, at least this version of it is like based on Grant Morrison's work, and I love this Doom Patrol. It's really good. Plus, Brendan Fraser's in it. There's no problems with that at all. Like, meta humor with Brendan Fraser, nothing to complain about. I've also been reading a lot of the Ed Brubaker Captain America because I'm super hyped up on Winter Soldier. Also watching continuously watching the Falcon and the Winter Soldier stuff. So I think everyone should check out what I just mentioned. I will watch Godzilla vs. Kong soon. And once it's available, Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
Right.
Mortal Kombat's going to be nuts. James Wan's composition, choreography on the Aquaman fight scenes were tremendous. And everything that I've been seeing from the MK trailers, better. They're better.
Plus, I can't wait to see the guy
dope.
from the raid. I'm like, I can't wait to see him.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Evan,
just think
anything?
they got really good casting for MK.
Yeah. Evan, anything you've been watching or are looking forward to in terms of comic book stuff?
As far as comic books go and shit, I honestly have not been keeping up as much as I would like to. I still need to start Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Hell, I haven't even seen WandaVision yet. I did start watching Doom Patrol the other day though, and I'm really
It's really
enjoying it
good.
so far.
It's really
I'm
good.
really enjoying it so far.
Yeah, I'm currently watching Falcon and Winter Soldier and Invincible. Invincible has been
I still
really
need to watch
good,
Invincible.
Yeah, man.
especially if you read the comics and you know what's happening. I'm just really glad they didn't. Is that politically safe to say? They didn't wimp out on one certain scene in the comic, and I'm really glad they didn't cut that out. I might check out, since I have HBO Go already, I might check out the animated Spawn series because I've heard nothing but good things about that.
The animated Spawn series is very limited. There isn't a lot of it to watch. And what it is, like when you do watch it, it's really creepy. Like I like the way they did it. It's really disturbing. It kind of reminds me of Gargoyles.
Ooh.
It
Seems
reminds me
fitting.
of Gargoyles and Batman the Animated Series. Like in terms of 90s animation, I think Spawn is like some of the best, if not the best. So for anyone who wants to get into Spawn without reading like the 300 plus issues of the Spawn series that it's still running at the same rate as it was 20 years ago, please check out the animated Spawn. It's not a lot, but it'll motivate you to check out the comics. The animation's amazing. It's disturbing as shit. It's very R-rated. And honestly kind of terrifying, but it's really good. So yeah, I look forward to knowing how you feel about that, Enzo.
He's waving his knife at us.
Oh well, satellite, you're gone. It's fine. Yeah, I will like to take the opportunity to say, if you're a comic book fan of the comic book movies, I highly recommend that you also support the comic book industry, because most of the time for me, they skim it's only the surface level that they skim, and the comic book stories themselves are really good and worth investing in. I invested in them years ago and I have no regrets. It's been a really cool journey.
I will add to that, please do that right now. Because if you are a geek and if you have the cash to spare, these comic book stores are hanging on by a thread. And we need these things to survive this pandemic, man. Comics are such a good medium for people to get into. And these local stores are working their asses off to make sure that they can get your reservations in time, that they get their shipments in time, that they can package your reservations properly and safely so that they can get to you. Please support your local comic book stores. They desperately need it at this time, and they're working so hard. So hard. Please. Please give them some love. They really need it. They really deserve it. So please, let's be kind to these industries and support them if we're financially able to.
Yes. And wherever we are in the world, in the Philippines, America, wherever, please, if you can, support your
And
local
also,
comic book store.
Pick up your reservations. I know
Yes.
a lot of comic book stores who are literally in the red because people haven't been picking up their reservations. If you make a reservation, please pick it up. Please pick it up. Even if you never order from this store again, just pick up what you reserved, man. Like,
Yeah.
they really can't hold those things forever, and they shouldn't. So please pick your shit up.
Yeah. In the future, hopefully these gentlemen can join me again. I shall be teasing a few videos here. Seb, what's your honest opinion about The Empire Strikes Back?
I hate all of the Star Wars movies.
Here we go.
I hate all of the Star Wars movies. I think the only things that are objectively good from the Star Wars franchise are the comics. Clone Wars is good, but it's also hit and miss. Especially the last season. That fucking Spice episode was stupid as shit.
It was.
I think the Bad Batch is going to be one of my favorite things ever. Because I loved them in the last season of Clone Wars. And The Mandalorian is fucking perfect. Everything in the movies, I would argue, is either bad or just memeable. I wouldn't say that any of it is good. I think Empire is one of the best in the movies, but that's not a high bar for me. That's kind of like saying it's the Jolly Spaghetti on top of a pile of garbage. Like that's how bad I think Star Wars movies are. I think they're complete garbage, and Empire Strikes Back is just the least tainted bit of garbage on a fucking dumpster.
What do you think of The Last Jedi?
I like the sequel trilogy more than I like the original trilogy. But I think it should be completely rewritten. I think it should be completely retconned and given the Snyder Cut treatment, but this time 3 fucking movies worth of Snyder Cut treatment. I think the biggest flaw of it was that you had directors who did not have a cohesive vision. And all they were trying to do, especially towards the last 2 movies, was undo shit they didn't agree with from the last movie. And that's not how a vision for a trilogy should be. It should be cohesive. You should agree on shit. I think the most entertaining of all of the Star Wars movies are the prequels. Because at least it's funny. The original trilogy, boring as shit. The fight scene's stupid. The Han Solo is this borderline sexual predator. Luke and Leia kissed way too many times for it to be okay. Not that it would have been okay if they kissed once or twice or whatever, but like it was weird. Like you could tell that George did not plan out to have them become siblings at the end.
Yeah.
You
Edwin,
yeah.
what are your opinions on the 2 second entries, both Empire and The Last Jedi? And for The Last Jedi, can you just unleash maybe 5% of what your rage on
Unleash
it?
5%.
So I'm planning
Your hair
something.
turns yellow
Yeah,
a little bit.
My fucking Deku, Jesus.
Start with Empire first.
5%.
Wait. Can I ask though? Why did you ask us this question on a BVS video?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
teasing another video I have planned.
Oh,
Should
okay.
be- Yeah.
Okay, so Empire, like I don't know, like I enjoyed it enough. Like I'm okay with the original trilogy.
And Last Jedi.
You're my friends. you all are very aware.
You want to say it right now, or do you want to save it for the future
It's
video?
fucking shit.
That's where you stop the video. It's fucking shit.
I will say this.
Dude, the
only
video
thing
ends like this. The video ends like this. It's fucking shit. And then you cut to black, and then it says Edwin Jomar
Will return.
Enzo will return. Dun, 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 dun.
And so please let your editing skills be that good in the future that you can do that.
But is that all you have to say for The Last Jedi?
No, I will say like the one thing that I enjoyed in The Last Jedi was the Rashomon sequence.
Jomar, you want to
What?
weigh in?
On Last Jedi or both of the movies?
Empire first and then Last Jedi.
Empire, I had fun with Empire. Like I didn't watch it when I was a kid. I watched it when I was like 17, 18. And I really do appreciate it. It's pretty good. Sunlight's in my face, sorry.
It's a lot of sunlight.
It is. It is. I'm actually being blinded right now. I'm just making this. But
Close your curtains. Get a fucking ring light.
The Last Jedi though. I will fight you to the end. No. Dude, I'll fight you, Enzo, to the ends of the earth. And I'll keep telling you that movie's trash.
Love it.
I'm sorry, man. That movie's trash. That's all I gotta say.
The sacred text.
The
Secret
sacred text.
For me, Empire Strikes Back is one of my favorites. I can kind of look past the outdated stuff. Just some of the visuals, and Luke versus Vader is one of the coolest fights I've ever seen. Besides that, I agree with most people that it's one of the best movies in general. Last Jedi, I really like to. I have some major problems with that movie, but I think it's a real good movie. The reason I'm asking these questions is that I'm inviting you gentlemen that come Star Wars Day. Let's have
May the
another
Force.
let's have a discussion on which is the best second entry. Let's show an Attack of the
Prepare
Clones.
to get cancelled.
Let's show an
Wait,
Attack of the
hold on,
Clones.
hold on. I just find it really funny that you said that because I was like, what if we said no? Like,
Just move on
They
then.
decided to invite us during this video, and it's like, I can't do it, man.
Yo.
Well, shit.
No,
yo.
this is a vocal contract now. We are obligated to show.
Exactly,
yo.
exactly.
We can throw an Attack of the Clones if we want.
I'll
I like
rewatch
Attack
all
of
of
the
the
Clones.
trilogies before.
I like
May the
Attack
Fourth.
of the Clones.
Now we have a video.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
enjoyed Attack of the Clones because Django's in it.
He gets his head cut off. That's cool.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Hey,
fuck
but
yourself.
hey, I'm saying I love the scene. I love the fight scene. What?
I did not like the fight scene, but
I
like,
liked
I
it.
love Django. I love Django.
All right.
The only reason he didn't get any efficient kills in that one was because everyone was wearing way too thick plot armor.
Yeah, they were. Especially Mace Windu. Mace Windu
Oh, yeah.
should have died there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, people, you heard it first. That hopefully come Star Wars Day, we'll have this really cool debate / discussion.
I better edit this.
And
You need to edit the shit out of this video, bro.
yeah,
You need to edit it.
and the last one I would like to tease is that it's not a movie, but a game came out last year. That's very, very divisive. That's all I'll say. And
Aren't you the Zack Snyder of podcasts? You keep shoehorning everything.
I have unlimited. I have unlimited time, bro. I'll take advantage of it. But yeah, a very divisive game came out last year, and Jomar might be a part of that. I really like the game. He doesn't. Like, God save us. Spare us Edwin's thoughts on the game. But yeah, if I'm being vague, it's because I don't want people writing the comment section not like I know what game you're talking about. But yeah, I'm also hopefully I'll do it with Pao from Culture Pit, so should be really fun. Just me, John, and I talking
That
about
should
it.
be good for that one.
Yeah. Lastly,
I can
gentlemen,
do
do
my research.
you have anything to plug in?
I mean, same as always. I am a Twitch streamer. I have been streaming a lot of Final Fantasy 14 lately, and I'm thinking about maybe streaming some Monster Hunter World, but we'll see. My Twitch channel is twitch.tv/Yurdi. It is down linked in the description below. I stream on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, 6 p.m. Pacific time. But in the Philippines, it's like fucking Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 9 a.m. Whatever.
You
Yeah.
can find
Check it
Jomar
out.
at Carta.
You can
I'm
check it
kidding.
Don't you dare say my god, just son of a bitch.
You can find Jomer right here on the screen with the sun in his fucking face.
Yeah. Is she
Shine bright like a
charging?
diamond.
Looking like a commercial for whitening cream.
Sam, anything to plug in?
If you're down with all of my talking shit and all of the things that I say and do, you can check us out at Real Culture Pit on Facebook, facebook.com/Real Culture Pit, Culture Pit Philippines on YouTube, Culture Pit Gaming on TikTok. We just reached 10,200 followers, so please check us out on there. We got a lot of content for you. We're streaming every day now on Facebook and TikTok. So yeah, check us out for that. At Real Culture Pit on Twitter, Instagram, facebook.com/Real Culture Pit. And Culture Pit Gaming on TikTok. So yeah, y'all go fuck yourselves.
Joe and I can agree it's really good, really unique content.
It is actually really funny. But
Folks,
you can
help
say
them-
whatever you want. No, I'm kidding. You can't say
No,
whatever you
no,
want. But
no.
you can say bad things. You can say bad things, but not too much.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Sorry.
No, if they go into your streams.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
talking a lot of shit, but I have my limits. I
Yeah.
crossed them today by accident, but Enzo's gonna edit that shit out. He's a good man.
Of course.
Aren't you,
course.
Enzo?
Of course. I don't want to get cancelled too.
Are you gonna ruin my career?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. Links down below. But yeah, please help Culture Pit get to more than 10K because they're really good. Right, Jomer?
Yeah, they are really good.
Yeah.
In my honest
And-
opinion, they are really funny.
Follow me on Twitch, please. Help me make affiliate.
Yeah.
Especially Edwin. Especially Edwin.
Follow Seb and Edwin because they work really hard for their content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I work hard for my content? I know
As
Seth
it-
does, but do
Dude,
I?
I'm losing my fucking mind making content. I swear to God, I'm so drained.
See, folks, help them out. And that's all for now, folks. As always, I'll catch you next time. And please stay safe, wear a mask, do all that shit. And see y'all next time. Bye.